Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Transfer Student Housing and Dining session. My name is Samantha Miranda, and I'm the Assistant Director of Transfer Recruitment with the Office of Admissions, and I'm happy to be here with you tonight as the moderator for this session. Tonight, we will be covering topics I'm sure you have a lot of questions about as a transfer student. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll discuss our housing policy at Illinois State, and then with that, on-campus housing options and off-campus housing options. We'll talk about our excellent dining facilities and meal plan options as well, both for students living on campus and off campus. We'll end the session with a Q&A, so as you have questions, be sure you're entering those using the Q&A button below. We have three housing and dining experts with us tonight. Jamie Neville is the Assistant Director in University Housing Services. Bradley Pearson is the Assistant Dean in our Dean of Students Office, and Desiree Yaw is our Registered Dietitian with Event Management, Dining, and Hospitality. With that, I will now go ahead and turn it over to Jamie.
Hey, Sam, how you doing tonight?
Doing well. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks for presenting tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. Welcome, friends. Hi. As Sam mentioned, my name is Jamie Neville. I'm with University Housing Services. So this is going to be ISU's on-campus housing options that I'm going to be chatting with you about today. We've got a lot of options, and it all revolves around where you fall as you transition to ISU. ISU's housing policy has a time limit, right? Within 2 years of your high school graduation is when you're required to live with us in on-campus housing, the university-owned buildings. If you are transitioning to us more than 2 years after your high school graduation, you'd qualify for off-campus housing. So again, just to clarify, if you're within 2 years of high school graduation, you're with us on campus. Otherwise, you are off campus. So I'm here to chat with you first about our on-campus options. When you work with University Housing Services, we've got a lot of options available to you, all of which come with benefits for the sign-up time, which I will talk about shortly. First, let me show you our beautiful campuses. On the far left is our iconic Watterson Towers. It is a 28-story residence hall with an attached dining center. At the top of your page, you'll see Tri-Towers, as the name implies. It's got 3 buildings. It surrounds our athletic workout facilities. So it's very popular among our student athletes or anyone who just wants to live close to Redbird Arena so that they can catch a game. On the bottom right-hand corner is Hewitt and Manchester halls. These are 18-story residence halls that have all of our themed living learning communities in them. These are floors where everyone has the same major. So we've got a nursing floor and a math floor and a teacher education floor. The RA of the floor has that major too, and the faculty members often stop by for events and fun get-togethers so that they can really blend that academic and residential living component. Down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see Cardinal Court, which is our university-owned apartment complexes. These are full apartments with kitchens and often have private bathrooms. This is a great place for students who are transitioning to independence as they will be living off campus for their junior and senior years. This is a great place to build those independent life skills. As we talk about our housing options, the number one thing to know is there is a major benefit to committing by May 1 to live in at University Housing Services. For those who put in their initial payment and their contract prior to May 1, for transfer students, 100 transfer students will be given the option to select their own space. For that process, it's very similar to picking your seat on an airline or a ticket on Ticketmaster. We show you all the spaces that are available and you pick the building that's right for you. Given all the options that we have available, if you've got a roommate preference, that's something that we can potentially accommodate. In addition, we've got a roommate matching system where even if you don't have a preferred roommate, you can find someone who matches on your roommate profile. These are important skills that roommates really ought to be able to get along on, whether you're a smoker or a non-smoker, whether you like to go to bed early or stay up late, that kind of stuff. The majority of our transfer students who live with us outside of those 100 students will have a manual assignment. That's where our assignments professionals will look at your roommate matching profile and find a space that fits well with you. Find a roommate that can gel with you, someone who answered some of the same important questions that you answered. The last day to cancel without any kind of financial repercussions would be June 1. And again, this is if you are going to be staying in University Housing Services and have submitted that initial contract with us. I will say, as we transition to the next slide, there are those students who are required to live with us, meaning they're within 2 years of their high school graduation, but would prefer not to. And there are also those students who are not required to live with us. They're more than 2 years out of their high school graduation date, but would prefer to. For each of those cases, I would encourage everybody to reach out to our office at University Housing Services. We've got processes that we can help you out with so that we can find the best option for you. When it comes to our health and safety, University Housing Services considers it to be a high priority. Obviously, we've learned a lot of lessons from COVID-19, and that includes some enhanced cleaning around our residence halls. That also includes some common sense safety tips. Our custodial crew take your health and safety very seriously, and they're always working on those high touch areas, door handles, elevator buttons, that kind of stuff. Our buildings are electronically locked at all times, 24/7. We have an additional layer of security in the evening hours between midnight and 6 a.m. We call it night operations, and that's where we have all of our entrances and exits staffed by a real live human, confirming not only have you, passed your ID card so that you can get into the building, but are you really the person on that ID card? It provides just an extra layer of security in the evening hours that our students really appreciate. Our front desks are at every building and they're staffed 24/7, no matter what the need is, how minor or whatever the case might be. Our front desks are available. That might be a situation where the person above you is maybe playing music a little bit too loud. We're happy to help out with that. That might be a situation where the sink in your bathroom is just dripping a little bit and annoying you. We can fix it. We've got staff on at all times ready to help. Speaking of our staff, our student RAs are on every floor. They're there positioned to provide leadership opportunities and to provide connection to the campus community for all students. And they are a great resource. Students often go to their RAs asking, hey, how can I get involved on campus? I've got an interest in racquetball. I've got an interest in Dungeons and Dragons. I've got an interest in a business fraternity or sorority. The RA can help get you connected to a lot of those great resources and find student organizations that fit your interests. We've also got professional staff, live-in master's level professionals in all of our residence hall buildings who are also on call 24/7 to help with some of those thornier issues that might come up. They're available at all times, ready and willing to assist. One of the main benefits of staying connected to university housing is that you're a big part of the campus community. You're involved, you're right there on campus. So we encourage you to get connected with us. Here are all of our social media pages. You can find us and you can find everything that we're doing this year to wrap up the semester. You can find everything that we're doing over the summer to clean, turn over, and get ready for a new exciting fall 2022 semester. That's it for my presentation for on-campus housing. I want to kick it over to my good friend, Bradley Pearson, to talk to our off-campus housing options. Bradley, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great, Jamie. Thank you for the introduction. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is well. I want to share a little information with you tonight regarding off-campus housing services here on campus, particularly off-campus housing options in the area. The first thing I always like to tell everyone about, and one of the things that our students are learning more and more about, is our updated and new off-campus housing services portal that we have here. Feel free to check it out on offcampushousing.illinoisstate.edu at your convenience. It's a great tool when you're trying to locate living arrangements in the local community here. It's more of a traditional portal when you first go into it, when you're looking at apartments and such. However, one of the things that I really love about this site is it's specific for our students, faculty, and staff. While anyone can access the front homepage of it, when you start going into some of the other features of the website, it's going to require you to use your student login credentials to use those features. So, when you're looking at the roommate finder to try to locate someone to live with off campus, or when you're looking to sublease a unit in the future, if you ever end up in that situation, you're actually going to be working with and talking to other students on campus, students, faculty, and staff. Finding a roommate is something that this portal can help you with. We don't physically match people together, but it allows you to do postings on there so that you can like outreach and make connections with others that might be looking for a housing option and looking for roommates to help with that option. The average rent in the area really varies. It depends on the property that you're looking at. It depends on its location. We have some very new, very updated facilities that have been built in the local community. Then we also have some older facilities that are a little further from campus that the rent's a little bit less in. So as you're looking, really keep in mind what you're trying to accomplish in terms of your living situation and what you're looking at with a budget as well, because there's a lot of different things to consider that can really play into what your options might be and how you might utilize the resources around campus. Another bit I would really encourage you to think about looking at rent and budgeting is whether or not utilities are included in your rent agreement. So there's a few fine things like that to keep in mind as you're looking at these options. There's also student versus residential apartments, thinking about on-campus options and off-campus options. Those residential apartments around campus really is that next level of in between living with support services and really starting to move out on your own and really experience housing on your own. As you're looking through these options, one of the things I also like to remind students, this might be the first time you're signing a lease. If it is, we have a student's attorney here on campus. Please feel free to outreach to our Dean of Students office and have our student's attorney kind of go over that lease with you, explain what some of the things are, answer any of the questions you have as you go through that process. Off-campus services here at Illinois State University encompasses a lot of things. Please check out our website. You will find a lot of programs and resources there. We are very much aware that a lot of times this is the first time someone has lived on their own and away from family in their own apartment or in an apartment with roommates. We have a lot of resources regarding utilities in the local area in case you need to set up your own utilities. We have information on renters insurance, a lot of different things that will kind of help you successfully transfer into that off-campus housing space. We also have some tips and FAQ pages that might connect you with additional resources as well. I also have to do a little shout out for our Dean of Students office here at this point as well with our off-campus services. We always have a dean that is on duty in our office whenever the institution is open. So Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., except for institutional closures, we have a dean that's in the office ready for any student that walks in to kind of help get them connected with resources, answer questions they have. So as you're going through this process, or anytime when you're a student here, if you run into an issue on campus that you need some assistance with, please come by, check out our Dean of Students office, and the Dean on Duty can assist you with that. Then moving forward, want to share a little contact information for you. We have a ISU off-campus Facebook page. Please feel free to check that out. We will sometimes drop links in there when we're doing, we try to do a semesterly off-campus housing fair with our partners that provide our off-campus housing portal to keep students informed of living options in the area. We will drop information about that each semester. We try to put some tips in there for students from time to time about the local community as well. So if you have any questions, check out our Facebook, check out our website. We would be happy to connect with you and answer any questions you have in the Dean of Students office. At this point, I want to turn things over to my friend and colleague, Desiree, from Event Management, Dining, and Hospitality.
Fantastic. Thank you for the introduction, Bradley. I appreciate that. As mentioned, everyone, my name is Desiree Ya, and I'm the Senior Registered Dietitian with Event Management, Dining, and Hospitality, or EMDH for short. I know we have quite the long department name. During my part of our presentation today, I'm going to review some of the highlights of our department and the work that we do on campus. So the first thing that I'd like to talk about is how our department is committed to creating memorable experiences for our students. One of the main ways that we do that is through our dining centers and meal plans. We have 2 dining centers on campus, Watterson Dining Commons and Marketplace at Lincoln Center. While the two have several things in common, there are some unique offerings at each location. At Watterson Dining Commons, for example, we have a build your own Tex-Mex station, we have a station that emphasizes allergy-friendly offerings, and we have a station that focuses on fresh, healthy flavors. And honestly, that's just the start of it. On the other hand, at Marketplace at Lincoln's, we have a Mongolian grill where you can literally build your own stir fry and then watch it be cooked right in front of you. And we also have a very special pizza oven. It's a wood-fired pizza oven, and that is something that many of our students rave about. After hearing about all of these options, one question that I often get from students is, can I use my meal plan at both dining centers? And the answer is absolutely. In fact, we really encourage our students to go to both places because we want them to experience the differences between the two spots. So once you get that meal plan, we really encourage students to check it all out and give everything a try. So speaking of meal plans, the nice thing here that you can see on this slide is that we do have a variety of meal plans that meet a wide range of different students' needs. So for students living on campus, we have two main types of unlimited meal plans where you would just have unlimited access to the dining center, kind of like the name implies. And we also have two types of traditional meal plans where students would have a set number of meal plans a set number of meals or visits into the dining center to utilize throughout the week however they wanted. Students who are living off campus can also purchase meal plans. Those are going to be our block meal plans, which is basically just a certain number of visits to the dining center in a given semester. And it is important to note that all of those meal plans that I just mentioned do come with flex dollars. And those are basically dining dollars that can be used at our retail dining venues all across campus. So if you're interested in learning some more specifics about each meal plan and finding the best fit for you, go to our website. That's dining.illinoisstate.edu/meal plans, and all of the information will be right there for you. So moving on to our next topic here, we as a department are also really committed to making sure that we have high quality and varied food selection. So not just at the dining centers, like I just mentioned, but also at our retail dining venues. At the Bone Student Center, we have 4 distinct venues. The first one is the Landing, and this is a spot that is a self-branded concept unique to ISU. We offer build your own fast-fired pizzas, grab-and-go options like sandwiches, wraps, salads that are actually made right on campus in our brand new culinary support center. So that's a really fun fact. The Bone Student Center also has a McAllister's Deli, a Qdoba, and of course a Starbucks. Got to have some coffee or some fun beverage if we're going to do some studying in the Student Center. We also have 2 other options in the Bone Student Center that are relatively new. One is called Timber's Grill, and this is a concept that has burgers, fries, shakes, and a variety of specials that we do throughout the year. The last venue in the Bone Student Center is called Star Ginger, and this has a lot of different fresh Asian flavors, so things like sushi, stir fries, egg rolls, broth bowls, like literally you name it, we have it there at Star Ginger. So, all of those things in the Bone Student Center actually came about because of student feedback. We just finished a 3-year revitalization project in the Student Center, and the reason that we have those specific restaurants is because we heard from students. So it's been really cool to kind of see all of that come full circle. Now, if that wasn't enough for you, don't worry. We have other locations where you can use your meal plan around campus. We've got the Business Bistro and the State Farm Hall of Business, Milner Cafe and the Milner Library. We've got a Starbucks in the Student Fitness Center, and there's also Subway restaurants located in some of the residential areas that can accept flex dollars that come with your meal plan. So honestly, no matter where you are on campus, there's going to be a high quality food option nearby that you can use your meal plan for. So beyond the actual food options that I've been talking about, our department is also very much committed to providing exceptional customer service. So customer service to us is, it also includes making sure that all of our students are able to enjoy their meal plans to the fullest extent possible. So as one of the department registered dietitians, I work with a ton of students every year who have a wide range of special dietary needs. So everything from food allergies to medical diets to honestly different things come up every single year, and we're happy to work with students because we really do believe that having a meal plan and being able to safely eat on campus is a really important part of the college experience. So making sure that my students with dietary restrictions can not only eat safely, but also get to enjoy the foods that they eat, it's most definitely our highest priority. So if you are interested in something like that, make sure you reach out to us, because we want to work with you and we want to make sure that you can utilize the meal plan. One of the other roles that I do that's sort of related to that is related to managing the database for our menu website called Net Nutrition. That's a platform where we list ingredients, allergens, nutrition facts for everything that we offer in our dining venue. On that website, we have little icons that identify allergens. We'll say if a recipe is vegan or vegetarian, and even more. And beyond just those sort of nutrition allergen related things, we also like to help students get the most out of their meal plan by offering special events like themed meals, holiday meals, Nutrition Month promotions. An example of that is something really fun. Just a couple weeks ago, we did an Avocado Palooza event where we had a build your own avocado toast bar. We did a Friendsgiving dinner last year. We just did a really special fancy Valentine's Day dinner. So, we find that these events are a great way to help students branch out, break out of their regular routine, and really just get the most value out of their meal plan. And the last part that I do want to talk about here, as you can see, is, supporting student development. That's a big part of our department as well. We have a ton of student employees each semester. In fact, we're the largest student employer on campus. We have roughly 1,000 student positions. All of them have flexible hours. All of them will take a class schedule into consideration. The jobs are conveniently located right on campus, which is awesome. And in addition to that, some of the benefits of working for our department include opportunities for advancement in student management positions, and also opportunities to get a free meal after your shift. So honestly, these student positions are perfect for those looking to gain valuable leadership skills, build their resume, eat some good food, and ultimately just be prepared for the professional world after graduation. So if you're interested in that, you'd like to learn more, visit our website, emdh.illinoisstate.edu/employment, or you can feel free to connect with us on any of our social medias, our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, and we will get you connected with the information you're looking for. So I know that was a lot of information, but hopefully you have a better idea of who EMDH is as a department. And with that, I will throw it back over to Samantha for Q&A.
Thank you, Desiree. Okay, so we've had a lot of questions coming through for Jamie, Bradley, and Desiree. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stop sharing here so we can see our panelists, and I'll ask Jamie, Bradley, and Desiree to turn their cameras on, and I'll start with some of these questions. Okay, here we go. Our first question. This is a question I think that would be for Jamie. How far of a walk is it from Towers to the dining halls?
Sure, I've got great news. The dining hall are in Towers, right there. The Lincoln's Dining Center is in the middle of the 3 towers. So we've got a little bridge that connects them. We've also got a basement path so that you can go to the dining center without even having to, step outdoors in a blustery Illinois spring day. So how long is the walk? I would say somewhere between 30 and 35 seconds.
It's very quick. Lincoln's Dining. That's
absolutely. One of
my
favorite. And then Watterson also has a dining center as well.
Yeah. And another question for you, Jamie, for the deadline of May 1, does that just include signing the housing contract and paying the initial fee of $300? That
is correct. The benefits of signing before May 1 include signing that contract on the housing and dining portal and putting in that initial payment of $300. Once you get those in, then you're locked in by May 1.
Desiree, do meal plans transfer over to the next semester?
Oh, that's a great question. So essentially it depends. If you're an on-campus student living in the residence halls, you are required to have a meal plan. So your selection in the fall would roll over into spring if you don't change it. So if you chose the 7-day unlimited during the fall semester, it'll automatically sign you up for that in the spring semester, unless you go into that portal and decide, something is different for you. One thing that is sort of related to that we get a lot of questions about, so I'll just go ahead and talk about that, is flex dollars. So those dining dollars that I mentioned earlier that you can spend at the retail locations and the Bone Student Center and around campus, each meal plan comes with a set amount of those. And say for whatever reason you don't utilize all of those in the fall semester, if you still have a meal plan with us in the spring, those extra dollars will roll over to your spring meal plan. But the most important thing, though, is for students to make sure you're checking that ISU email, because we'll send you reminders about, hey, you have X amount of dollars left. Hey, this is the deadline to use those flex dollars, because at the end of spring semester, they don't roll over anywhere. So it's really, really important because we want students to use their meal plan and get the most value out of it. So I guess to kind of sum it up, yes, it could roll over to the next semester, depending on what meal plan you have or where you live. And check those emails for important updates from our department.
Thanks, Desiree. Bradley, if I'm living off campus, is there a shuttle service to get me closer to the quad?
So good news, there's actually a shuttle service that runs around campus. It doesn't necessarily go out in all to the apartment communities, but we do have a shuttle that goes around campus. And your students here can also use public transportation here in town, the busing system here in town. So as long as you have your ID card, that you're covered. It just I usually tell students, and this is something really exciting about the new portal we have. If you go on our portal and look, it will actually overlay all the city bus lines onto the portal, so you can see exactly where an apartment you're looking at is relative to the busing system here in town.
It is really nice. That was a big upgrade. I was just talking to a student earlier today about that. Look how close the bus lines are to all these apartments. Okay, Jamie, can you talk a little bit about how to find how much on-campus housing costs?
Yeah, absolutely. Since we've got a couple of different residence hall styles, we've got a couple of different price points. I would encourage whoever asked that question and anyone who's curious to go to our website, which is housing.illinoisstate.edu, and look at the different places to live. Each one of those has a cost associated with it. And even within the same building, sometimes there are options. For example, in Towers and Hewitt, Manchester, they've got regular double rooms, where you would have a roommate with someone. We've got some single rooms, which would have a little bit of a higher price point. And then we've also got some suite rooms, which is where you would have private bedrooms with a little living area and a private bathroom. That would also be a little bit of a premium on those spaces. So I can't tell you, this building has this price point, because they've each got a couple of different options within them. Again, I would encourage you to go to the housing website, housing.illinoisstate.edu, to check that out.
A couple questions about this topic. Molly and Sean both were wanting to know when they would find out if they were one of the 100 transfers selected to be able to roommate match room select.
Absolutely. No, that's a great question. Because the deadline is May 1, we're certainly going to let all those applications come in by May 1. We'll then select 100 transfer students. After that, we'll be in communication, likely later in the month of May or early June, to provide those folks that opportunity.
Thank you. Bradley, a question on just in general, how close are most apartments to campus? It's understood that the term is off-campus housing, but does that mean it's a far walk?
So it really depends on where a student chooses and wants to live. We have several large apartment communities right here around the periphery of campus that literally our students walk to school. Because it's easier to get from some of the apartment communities to some points on campus than like on campus housing, depending on which specific spot you're talking about, just because of proximity to campus for some of these communities. There's other apartment communities that's further away that you're really going to have to be using public transportation, or you're going to be getting a parking pass for a commuter lot so you can drive to campus to get from those communities to campus. So it's really what you're looking for and what you're wanting to do as far as how much of a walk you're going to have. What I usually tell students is, if you want to live right on the edge of campus, there's some large communities right over here. Some of the newer communities here in town are right here on the boundaries of campus. and they offer a lot of different options. So check those out. If you're looking for that easy commute, that would be a good spot for a very short walk to campus.
Jamie again. A couple people just seeking clarification, Matt and Ben, on the housing policy. Can you share that once more?
The policy meaning the requirement of who lives with us and who doesn't?
Correct.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Thank
I just
you.
wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is, our housing requirement is that you need to live with us in our on-campus university-owned residence halls if you are within 2 years of your high school graduation. So that's going to be the traditional age freshman and sophomore population. Again, if you're coming to campus having spent a couple of years serving in the military or coming back to campus after taking some time off, that's the rule. It's not how many credits you've got or what you're transferring in with. It's your years after your high school graduation. So if you're within 2 years, you're living with us. If not, we're assuming that you're living in off campus. However, we do have processes, as I mentioned, for those who want to be a part of the other group, right? You spent 2 years at a community college and are now transitioning to ISU, but you really want to be a part of the community and live in the residence halls, contact us. We can see what we can do for you. Or you've got a setup where you've already got a friend living in an apartment and it would be your second year, but boy, you'd really like to not live in university housing and live in this apartment with the friend. Contact us. We've got options. We can work with you.
Wonderful. Desiree, a couple questions coming in. You had mentioned student employment opportunities. When do those start posting and what kind of opportunities are there?
Sure. So right now, literally, we'll talk with you about, because we have so many student positions, we're always hiring essentially. And our student hiring managers and our staff that basically employ students, they're always willing to talk with students. So even if you're a prospective student, you're not sure when you're moving to campus, just get in touch with us. We can kind of talk you through all of the different things that we have to offer. And as far as what type of positions, boy, there's a lot, having those 1,000 student positions, and especially with a department like ours where we are event management, dining, and hospitality, there's such a wide range of students. So of course, food related. So students who work in the dining centers, serving or as cashiers, or students who work in the bakery. We also have students who work in catering, front of house, catering, back of house, students who work in our retail type restaurant. So the Starbucks baristas on campus work for our department. The students at McAllister's work for us. We also have, more event related things. So we've got, students who work in our box office selling tickets, students who work at our welcome desk. So if you're really personable, maybe you're the one for that job. We've got students who work security at events, students who are ushers. I could go on, but I think you get the point, is that we do have such a variety of employment for students in our department.
I think you have to be the biggest student employer, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think
very much so.
Yeah. Okay, Bradley, a question on finding roommates off campus. How do I meet potential roommates if I'm living in a private apartment?
Sure, that would be somewhere I would refer students back to our housing portal again.
Mm-hmm.
We have a roommate finder button in that housing portal, and basically it's like think of it as a newspaper ad. People can go in, put in information about themselves, what they're looking for in a roommate, and others can go in and browse the postings to say, hey, this looks like somebody I can match with. That is really our best tool to utilize to find a roommate, especially if you don't already have one or you don't have connections here on campus, so that you can really have some knowledge of who you're moving in with. Something I will throw out there for individuals, also contact the apartment communities. Sometimes students sign a lease for a multi-unit apartment without having a full apartment, and the apartment complexes will work with them to fill those vacant spaces. So that so if you're having trouble finding an individual, sometimes some of the apartment communities can help you with that as well.
I'll also plug the private Facebook page for admitted students that we've invited you to join. It's usually about 2 weeks after you're admitted, you get the invite to join our private Facebook page. A lot of transfers utilizing that site to meet roommates as well. And then Bradley again, I hear that there's a lawyer on campus that we can utilize to review leases. Is that true?
That is very true. We have a student's attorney in our Dean of Students office. They will do lease reviews with you and work through anytime you're having an issue with your lease or anything. They can also assist you and get you connected to community resources. Any type of legal situation. What our student's attorney doesn't do is work you through our internal conduct processes and internal things with the institution. They more are a resource for you to help you with those external contracts, things you're experiencing in a community, and getting you connected with other legal resources outside of the purview of the institution.
Thank you. Jamie, when it comes to getting assigned a roommate or being able to select a roommate, when does that happen?
Sure, it happened over the summer months. If you're one of the 100 transfer students who get to select their own space, you can certainly use our roommate matching profile. That is built into the housing and dining portal. You can make your roommate profile. You can, as I said earlier in the presentation, list whether you like typically you're a messy liver or you like to have everything clean, you're a smoker, you're a non-smoker, that kind of stuff. And you can match with somebody. You can use that private Facebook page for admitted students. There's a lot of different ways to match. That would take place in late May or early June. For transfer students who are going to be manually assigned, meaning that it would be our assignments professionals who would place them in the openings that we have remaining, I would still encourage people to make the roommate profile. That helps us to know you and what you're looking for in a roommate. So as we place you, it would be in a space that would be beneficial to you and your learning and growth. That would take place in July, so that by the end of July, we'll know where everyone's going to be, and it'll be just in time for move-in 2022.
That's right. Oh, Desiree, a question for you about dietary restrictions. If I'm vegetarian, what kind of options are there for me in the dining centers?
Great question. So we have a couple options. So the first thing I'll tell people is there's a tool for that, basically we have our menu website that I mentioned briefly during the presentation called Net Nutrition. Now this is a menu website that's open to all meal plan holders, not just those with dietary restrictions. Anyone can just click on, just get their browser open on their phone, type in the website, netnutrition.illinoisstate.edu. And basically it'll take you to a menu website where you can see everything that's being offered everywhere. So it's kind of a hard question to answer what vegetarian options there are, just because some of our stations change every single day. So there will be a different vegetarian option every single day. But there are some, kind of staples that we have. So of course we've got some different veggie burgers at our grill station. The salad bar is always a treasure trove for our vegetarian students. I don't know that I've ever met a student who didn't like our pasta and Alfredo sauce, and that happens to be vegetarian, so there's a ton of different options. The other thing that I will mention too is that between myself and our other dietitian, we're happy to meet with students with dietary restrictions, vegetarian or otherwise, honestly anything, and we can do anything from do a dining center tour to point out options that would work for you, even all the way down to more individualized accommodations if it's needed. So if you do have a concern or you want to go on a tour or a quick question when you get on campus, just feel free to reach out to us and we're happy to chat with you.
Thanks, Desiree. Okay, a question about Cardinal Court. What do the rooms look like? What are the different layout options?
Yeah.
What's the experience at Cardinal Court?
Absolutely. Cardinal Court is our on-campus, so it's owned by the university, full apartment complex. It's our newest complex on campus, just constructed in 2012. So barely 10 years old, still got the shiny parts all on the corner. It's got a number of different floor layouts. It's got most of the apartments in there are 4-bedroom apartments for 4 individuals. So the majority of folks are going to have their own private bedroom, and they're kind of 50-50 whether they've got a private bathroom in there or a shared bathroom shared with you and one other roommate. So there's a lot of different options. You can check out all those floor plans. Not only do we have kind of the blueprint style floor plan, but we've got a 3D style floor plan available on our website. That's housing.illinoisstate.edu, pardon me. And we've also got a 3D tour. So it links to a YouTube page where you can kind of do one of those turning around and see yourself in the space kind of setups. We've got a couple of different floor plans, as I mentioned earlier, each come at their own separate price point. So you can choose the level of amenities that's right for you.
Wonderful. Okay, I'm looking at the time here, and I know that there are so many questions coming through. And at the end, I'll be sure to share some good contact information to get those questions answered if we weren't able to address those today. But I will end with one question for our panelists that I always think is fun. What is your favorite place to eat on campus? And you can only choose one, and why?
I'm going first.
Good.
I choose the Lincoln's Dining Center at Tri-Towers because of that Mongolian grill. You can get it just the way you want it. If you want it with noodles or rice or lots of veg or no veg or meat, they've got shrimp, they've got chicken, and you can make it just as spicy as you like it. And I like it real spicy. So that cannot be beat. That's a service that's not available just any old place, only at Lincoln's Dining Center at Tri-Towers.
All right, I will go next, but I would like the record to show that I have multiple favorites about all of our dining options on campus. But I will say that Timber's Grill in the Bone Student Center, last year, we ran this special of fried pickles with a house-made special sauce. And it was so amazing. So if that, daily special, or excuse me, not daily specials, but seasonal specials is something that appeals to you. We did a Reuben this past March. We've got different milkshake flavors that kind of come and go. If that appeals to you, then Timber, I haven't even told you about the Timber Tots. So just Timber's Grill is my answer.
I am a true Southern boy. All food is my favorite. However, if you make me have to pick that one spot, I've got to go with Desiree. It's Timbers. Because the grilled cheese, tater tots, and a shake combo can never be beat by anything, in my opinion. And plus, those Timber Tots are just awesome.
None of you picked the best, which is Subway. Fun fact, we have a Subway in every single residence hall area and in Cardinal Court apartments. So, man, you have 4 Subways to choose from when you come here. It reminds me of my hometown.
You know, you never knew the level of craving you have until they bake the cookies right next to the lobby and you're walking to class. You're like, I do have 2 extra minutes. I could snag a macadamia cookie on my way. Yeah, that is true.
Okay, let me go ahead and start sharing my screen again so we can talk through ways to join the conversations, to stay in touch with us. So as always, be sure to keep in touch with us as you move forward with your next steps in becoming a Redbird. If you haven't already, be sure to follow us on social media. We have an excellent YouTube channel specific to transfer students' most frequently asked questions. If you didn't know that, be sure to give us a follow. I want to thank you again for attending our event tonight. And as always, and again, if we weren't able to answer your question with our 45-minute session here tonight, I encourage you to reach out to admissions with any questions. Email us, call us, we're here to help. And if we need Bradley's help, if we need Jamie's help, if we need Desiree's help, we can connect you with them too. They're wonderful campus partners. I want to thank you all for attending our session tonight.